Actually, the Aston Martin he caught, number 97 at the West Horseshoe, benefited Albuquerque because he was able to skip by and Renger had to bide his time, but then the traffic just took all that away again at turn 6. Kamui Kobayashi, can I draw your attention to the Japanese in 4th place, has got the gap down to Harry Tincknell to less than a second now because he was able to lap a full second quicker from the man from the southwest of England. And Tincknell under pressure, but not for the cars ahead of him, but for this final podium spot. Mazda have worked incredibly hard to be in that position, and you get the feeling Tincknell's going to have the elbows out to keep the Allied Cadillac behind.
Still waiting for the pit stop from the leading LMP2 car. Tower Motorsport by 32 seconds over Era Motorsport, 8 from 18. Jordan Taylor and Tom Milner ahead of the BMW by 13 seconds as the Corvette machine rolls on, with Farfus in 3rd and Per Guidi in 4th. LMP3, Riley Motorsports from Sean Creech from Milner. At least they're together on the timing screens. They split up by laps, though, as far as their positioning is concerned. And Winward Racing with Maro Engel, the 57 AMG GT3, now 15 seconds to the good. And Raffaele Marciello in the Sun Energy 1 AMG, 7.5 seconds ahead of Caldarelli, who's 8 seconds ahead of Wright Motorsports in 4th position. It's the front of the field that has our attention as Johnny Palmer is watching Philippe Albuquerque on the high banks at turn 2 again.
Should be all right, I think, into the bus stop this time. Has a sufficient gap again. Traffic at the Western Horseshoe benefiting the race leader, and the chaser, Renger van der Zande, had to go very wide indeed. Took plenty of curb on the exit of the second Horseshoe and just struggled really for track position. Had all the grip that he needed, but couldn't apply the throttle as early as Philippe Albuquerque, and the gap's going to extend very slightly in the favour of the race leader. Also, Harry Tincknell has rectified that threat to an extent from Kobayashi. It's gone back to 1.2 seconds. Oh, into the pits. Is that Renger?
Yeah, it's a puncture. It's a puncture.
I thought it was.
Right rear again. Right rear again. That's exactly what happened before. And there is the race. Right there. Now, was there a touch? What has happened? Or is that just gone? It was Scott Dixon at the wheel when this car had the problem before for Chip Ganassi Racing, and it was the right rear. Jeremy Shaw, it had been awesome up until then in terms of consistency and speed. Chip Ganassi Racing have been robbed of a shot at it right at the very end. What drama! What drama! 7 minutes to go. And a repeat of the issue further out. It's just the one. Further out the track, just the one. Now, I didn't see it coming together there, but there's consternation at Win Taylor Racing. Or do they think, dare they think now, Johnny Palmer, that they've got this race won?
Many down at Konica Minolta is, this is ours to lose now, and we are, what, 5 seconds in front with 6.5 minutes to go. They were expecting full-on pressure all the way to the flag. I don't think they were close enough to have made any contact. They certainly didn't when there was the overlapping into turn 4, 5-6 laps ago. And the run to the end of that lap, they were far enough apart to be nowhere risking contact. And then all of a sudden, from a very high shot, I just noticed that the 0-1 car was slowing and coming into the pits, and big lock-up. I thought, okay, that's Renger on the very much on the limit, or is it a rear tyre gone? And that's exactly what it was, a rear right going. Thankfully, he was in a reasonably good place to get into the pits and back out again, but there goes your chance of winning the race, and the Mazda's up to second now.
Yes, and we've got the significant moment, Shea Adam in LMP2 as Tower Motorsport pit from the lead.
Which means that the leader is now Era Motorsport. They have at least a 20-second lead, and this is truly a fairy tale with 5.5 minutes to go. Can they hold on?
Jeremy Shaw, what a shame. We were really setting up for a grandstand finish with exceptional, quick, consistent laps before that right rear problem intervened for the 0-1 Chip Ganassi Racing car.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any contact between those two. Look, I don't recall any other punctures for any other prototype team during this race. One has to wonder, the Ganassi team obviously is new back into prototypes again. Were they just being a little bit too aggressive with the camber settings or the tire pressures or something like that on that Cadillac? Because that's the only other car that I can recall having any sort of a problem in this race. They've been turning wonderfully consistent, fast lap times. Each of the last 7 laps by Philip Albuquerque in the lead of this race, and therefore Rego van der Zande right behind him, were within 0.2 of a second. That is remarkable when you're working your way through traffic all of the time, constantly. Okay, everybody else in this race at this stage is mindful that the leaders are coming up behind them, but that was remarkable consistency and just a brilliant defensive drive from Albuquerque.
Change for second place. Kobayashi's gone through into second place. He was catching Tingnell. He's gone through into second position. Acura, Cadillac, Mazda now, just when we thought Mazda and Harry Tingnell might have been doing a great job and getting somewhere close. The battle has gone the way of the Allied Cadillac. And down in GT Daytona, Rafael Marciello with 16 seconds. He's not going to make that. Might have to do a little bit of fuel saving because they came in with 52 minutes to go from memory. Johnny Palmer, Kobayashi now is the challenger, but surely Acura and the new relationship with Wayne Taylor Racing, surely they will not be denied at this point. But Kobayashi, don't tell him that.
Well, of course, he was part of the lineup for Wayne Taylor Racing and Konica Minolta in the previous 2 years at this race and took victory with them. So, in a sense, he's got a bit of a score to settle with the number 10 car, who are the 10 car and crew are on course for a hat-trick, but there are no common drivers in this year's 10 lineup. Remember, it's entirely different. But Kamui Kobayashi, 6 seconds he's got to try and find in 3 minutes. It's a big stretch, and he's still got the hassle of Harry Tincknell behind as well. Harry's only 3 and a bit tenths adrift in that Mazda, so let's see whether he can offer a response, getting very, very close indeed under braking as they head through turns 1 and 2.
So now, what do you do? What do you say to Philippe Albuquerque? 5 seconds with a couple of laps remaining, and I have been reminded by a couple of people that the Mustang sampling car got a puncture as well on the right rear, down towards turn 1. Just watching a replay there of Kobayashi going over the top of Harry Tincknell and claiming second position. 4.7 seconds. 2 laps from here, Jeremy?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, I mean, just remarkable what Racing has done here. I mean, what a battle between these two, between those two great teams, between Chip Ganassi Racing. They've won this race overall 6 times. Wayne Taylor's run it twice as a driver. And 4 times as a team owner. It's been a remarkable effort by this team. Brand new switch to the Acura chassis for this season, and it's very, very close now.
And the white flag, in fact, is out. 3.5 miles to go. What a day this could be for the win, for the Taylor family, with their team, with one of their sons leading overall, and Jordan Taylor bringing the Corvette home to a famous victory in the GT Le Mans category. It's back up to 5 seconds. Harry Tincknell has not given up second place, by the way. Juan Montoya's 46 seconds further back in third, but could be picking his way through carbon fibre to a second place, depending on what goes on. The last lap has started. Where's the battle for second position? Just coming onto the infield now as the leader heads onto the high banks for the 807th and final time. Considering the amount of full course yellow that we've had, to be well over 800 laps, 8:33 is the distance record. Just shows you the pace that has been set when we have been green. And the last half a lap now. What noises is Philippe Albuquerque hearing in that car? Ricky Taylor, Alexander Rossi and Helio Castro Neves have done their parts, but it's the Portuguese driver who's been given the honour to bring it home, and they've had to scrap for it. This wasn't given, but 2021 IMSA gets underway, and the 59th running of the Rolex 24 Hours is won by the Konica Minolta Acura. Kobayashi comes home second. Mazda from 3 laps down in 3rd position. In LMP2, they're still battling, but there's 20 seconds between them. It will be 1-2 in Corvette for for Jordan Taylor and Tommy Milner in the 3 and 4 car. Mauro Engel and Winward Racing win GTD. He takes the checkered flag from second. Sun Energy 1, what a great start to their partnership with Gradian Racing. Phenomenal finish, drama in Mazda's storybook, Jeremy. Drama from the formation lap right at the end. They couldn't get first gear and they lost second with a couple of laps to go, but what a race, what a race. Here are the Corvettes. It's the bright red Corvette, Jordan Taylor coming through in the number 3 car. He's only got the high banks to go. The red number 1 illuminated on the side of the door to tell him he's leading GT Le Mans. He knows that, the fans know that, and Corvette Racing continue their story at the Rolex 24. They took their 100th race in IMSA North American competition here on the 4th of July in the short race last year, and they move and chalk up another W. 1st and 2nd. Copybook stuff. Everyone has taken the checkered flag now. Jeremy Shaw, what a race in all 5 classes. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely tremendous.